Hello, welcome to Hurt, Heal, Evolve. I am your host, Tiquana April. Thank you so much for joining. Today is our first edition of the couples edition. So I had to get two couples that were making an impact, and I was lucky enough, blessed enough, let me change that, to find them. So we're going to get started with the Colters.
We are excited to be here.
Yes,
We
thank
are.
you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. And it's been a minute because I wanted to invite you guys a little bit earlier. Backstory. I wanted to invite you all a little bit earlier on, I think when I first came to the church. And I was like, I got to pace myself because the Lord did drop you all in my spirit way early. So I am very happy that you guys are here.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
excited.
you.
We're excited.
Thank you. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to start off with an icebreaker instead of going totally off script. I'm going to ask you to tell me one thing about each other that you probably don't know.
Ooh, one thing about each other that she probably doesn't know about me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow,
And if there's nothing, that's fine too. That's fine too.
wow. We've talked about so we've been married for 11 years.
Okay.
11 years. So not to say she knows everything about me, but it's probably something you don't know about me. It's probably
Yeah, I'm looking at you like, what
You
do
know
you
what?
know?
You know what? So one of the things she probably doesn't know when I'm in corporate America, I may have meetings. I get really nervous before the meetings.
Okay.
Regardless
Okay.
of the content, what I have to cover, I could be the expert in the room. Every time before a meeting, I get really nervous for that first probably 10 to 15 seconds.
Well, that's a sign of humility. So I think, in
Wow.
my opinion, so it's good to be nervous before you start anything.
Amen. All right,
What
humble
you got? What you
husband.
got? What you got? What you got? What you got?
Something that you don't know about me. Gosh, I really do think you know
I know quite a bit.
most.
That's a plus,
I
though.
know quite a
It's
bit.
it's not a plus. or a
Later on,
minus.
we're gonna have conversations. Like, you know what?
Right.
I live. No, I'm just kidding.
Of things. That's okay. Okay, so let's introduce our audience to you. So let's start with church. Were
Okay.
you both raised in the church?
Both raised in. I was raised in the church, yes,
Yes.
and she was raised in the church
Yes,
as well.
we
yeah.
both were.
Okay, do you mind saying the denomination? What denomination it was, or you don't have to? if you
No,
don't
go
want
Yeah, I was raised Baptist, Southern
Okay.
Baptist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was raised non-denominational, but all my family's really in ministry. So
Okay.
I've had opportunities in Baptist. My grandfather was a Baptist minister. I have aunts that are, bishops, Kojic. I've been Presbyterian. So I've been really exposed to a lot of
Oh.
the Christian world. Yeah.
Okay, so with you saying that, how did you know which denomination fit best for you?
I pull from all of them.
Okay.
So you have different traditions that really resonate with me.
Mhm.
So I can feel very at home in multiple traditions, from
Yeah.
the Coptic church to the charismatic church. All of it, there's something either in the symbolism or in the service itself that
Okay.
I feel very connected to, because I was exposed throughout my life to so many different
Denominations.
denominations and ways that the services are conducted.
And what about you?
Yeah, so for me, I was just raised in church.
Okay.
All the denominations and Kojic, and
Yeah.
I wasn't exposed to that.
Right.
Yeah.
When I became an adult, I started getting exposed to that. In reality, I started getting more exposed to that when I met her.
Okay.
She said, "Oh, hey, yeah, non-denominational does this, or Kojic does that."
Yeah.
I didn't have any exposure. I just knew, you know what, God and Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really what, you know what I mean? And maybe just some of my parents were raised, so right, they didn't necessarily expose me to additional things of that type. So it's been a little different journey for me to kind of get more exposure to different denominations.
Okay. Was spirituality big on the list as far as choosing each other?
Mhm.
Like,
yeah.
was it a must
Absolutely.
that? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me, it was definitely I needed somebody that had to have a spiritual grounding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just beyond that, so spirituality really to me kind of points to the heart
Yeah.
of a person. And I think that's what we kind of talked about, right? We first kind of getting married or at least kind of having discussions
Yeah.
about marriage. I sent you.
Yeah. So when we first
That's where I was about to go.
Uh-huh.
That's where I
So
was about to go.
not like the first date, but after the kind of initial, I think we had known each other for maybe a week, and he said,
Yeah,
"Hey, I'm
yeah.
gonna send you something, and I want you to listen to it." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." And the first thing that he sent me was of his home pastor preaching this message about like relationships and faith and all of these things, and it was something for me. It was almost like wow, he's serious. Because sometimes when you're single, people can kind of figure out what's important to you. And I'm not saying this happens to everybody,
Right,
but they
right.
can say like, oh, okay, she likes church. I'm gonna give her churchish stuff.
That part.
And then
Right.
when he sent me a message, he sent it to me and I listened to it because I was trying to figure out like I'm not just gonna align with anybody.
Yeah.
So he sent it to me. I was like, wow, this is something that's important to him. For before we have our first date, you're sending me something to say, hey, I want you to listen to my home pastor and see if you agree, see if we align in this way. And then I told him I listened to it and we had a discussion about, hey, what do you think about it? And he was telling me what he thought about it. And for me, that was like, he takes his faith seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said at one point that that was almost like kind of a test. Like, okay, is she Christian? Is she Christian for real? Is it in name
Yeah.
or is it in practice? That's something that she values.
Yeah.
So for us, it was really the beginning of our relationship was centered around our beliefs.
And then I think it makes it easier too in the marriage when the foundation, the spiritual foundation is there,
Yeah.
so that you don't have to. Because I know a lot of couples, they get together, one person is saved and the other is not. And so
Yeah.
God is not at the forefront of even asking, is this the person for me?
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys did that, so if it would have been a deal breaker if she would have been like, I'm kind of in and out, or I don't know, or how did
Be
that
honest
look?
with you. Be honest with you. I just wanted to see how she thought. Right. First of all, would she be open to even just listening to it?
Yeah.
I didn't give any pretext of really what it was going to be about. Just hey, check it out. We'll talk about it within a week or so. I wanted to see how she thought about it.
Okay.
And not to have as a right or wrong answer. I wasn't looking for any kind of particular response. Just, hey, did you listen to it? Did you
And
think
what do you
about it? Can
think?
we have a conversation about it?
Okay. Okay. So how long in your marriage, how far into your marriage did is it fused marriages? When did
Fused
that come
marriages.
up? When was that birthed?
Ooh, we. So,
So because you've been married for 11 years.
been 11 years.
Okay.
So it started back in 2019. And it was about, what is that, about 4 years after we've been married? And you literally heard, she heard the pretty much tell the story, but she
Yeah.
heard something from God say, we need to do something different
Yeah.
in regards to helping people.
Yeah, yeah. So when we got married, even though we came from Christian backgrounds,
Mhm.
we didn't have a lot of support. We noticed that the church itself didn't really kind of talk about marriage for us in a practical way. We're a blended family, and that wasn't something that was really discussed. It was kind of like you say I do, and then you figure out everything.
Yeah.
So when we went through premarital counseling with a great couple, and then after that, we didn't see a lot of pockets for community that could really not just support like believe in marriage, but how do you do this thing? I think a lot of times in our faith, we don't really give the tools on how to do it. We just say, hey, read your Bible and God's going to reveal it to you. But what does that look like as you're
What is it?
going?
Right.
So I was at home and the Lord really spoke to me and said, hey, we need to do this thing. And it was not on our agenda.
At
Like we
all.
had no
At all.
idea about
That's how
it.
you know it's God.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we were like, okay, we have to research. Like, how do we start this? Because before that, we had small groups in our home. People had come to us for advice, and we were very much like, why are they asking us? You know. But we started kind of going through the process, getting certified to do different things, talking to mentors and pastors, and yeah. So that's really how it started, was just God speaking to us and us seeing a need, and God called us to be a part of helping others through marriage, family, and relationships.
Do you remember what season? And because I know marriages, they go through seasons. You have your ups, you have your downs, financial, practical, and like
Yeah.
you said, the church really doesn't talk about it. Well, now in the modern day church, they do have a lot
Yeah,
of programs and a lot
more,
of
a lot
things
more.
that
Mhm.
a lot more than
Yeah,
I know when I was married.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they did it wasn't. And
Yeah.
like you said, it was
Right.
just get married, figure it out.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So do you know what stage, can you pinpoint what stage in your marriage you were at when the Lord dropped that in your spirit and when she told you?
Yeah, so I can
Do you
just chime
know?
in a little bit on that. So when she told me, we were trying to figure it out. We were in that figuring out phase, blended family, trying to figure out the kids. We were actually figuring out our home life. We didn't know it. We were on the brink of COVID. So in
Okay.
2019 in December,
Yep.
the statement came up to her from God. That following month, she said, we got to get a podcast system. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
we can get it later, this, that, and the other. We can wait. It was a week later,
Mhm.
COVID, everything shut down. I got it the week before
That Friday.
that Friday
Yeah.
to get the system, and we got started. Like literally, we started this right as COVID has begun. We didn't know how
Yeah.
long it was going to last. It wasn't our vision to kind of say we're going to do this during COVID. And literally say, you know what? we realized not just we were helping people as we were communicating, it was helping us as well because it's making us have conversations.
Well, the message goes to you. Well, that's what it's
Yeah.
supposed to you
To
first,
you
so you were
before it
able to
goes
pour
through.
out to anybody else. So, did you start at home? How did you start the podcast? Did it start at home? What did that look like? Well, it was COVID, so
It was
Yeah.
COVID. Oh my goodness. So yeah, a lot of people don't know this. So literally, when COVID happened, we had planned on moving. We were in Richardson.
okay,
We moved back to my parents' house.
okay.
It was
In
going to be
Austin.
temporary in Austin, Texas.
Uh-huh.
It was going to be
Oh,
temporary.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It was going to be January to March. We were gonna commute back and forth. So at that point, then we would literally have my dad had an attic. He helped us get a table, get some
Yeah.
lighting. We got cameras set up.
Oh, so
if
it was
you ever
a
go back
real-
5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
literally in the
Yeah,
attic of my
it
parents'
started
house.
in the attic of his parents' house. And like you said, we were moving. So we just had our things there. But when
Yeah.
COVID shut everything down, we were just there. So
Right. And what does it focus on? What does Fuse? And where did you? First of all, where did you get the name? Where did the name come from?
Go ahead.
Well, no, we talked about just the idea of like blending families, blending, and like really we're all blending, right? Regardless if you have a blended family traditional term or not, we're always trying to blend a family when you're getting married. So you know
Yeah.
what? Fuse the marriages. That's really how that term came
Yeah,
out.
fusing
Every marriage
together.
is being fused together.
Okay. The attic. Now that brings me back because I started to during I believe COVID started on Zoom.
Yeah.
And
go.
so, I misheard what God said when he said team. So I was thinking, yeah, I need to have a panel of people, a panel of women, which was great because I think now in hindsight, it was all preparation
Yeah.
for what needed to happen. But I didn't want it, could not imagine being behind a camera, let
Yeah.
alone trying to tell anybody or trying to bring anybody together. So that's how you know it's the Lord,
Yeah.
in these type of situations.
Mhm.
So before we get a little bit further, how many kids do you guys, you said you have
Yeah,
blended?
So we have 4 kids. 4 kids.
Okay. Do you have any together?
We do.
Yes. We have
Okay.
two together.
So how was that process actually blending
Ooh,
the
girl.
families together?
Yeah, it was a process.
How much time do
It's
we
a process.
have?
Yeah, I'm gonna have you come back without Michael.
Yeah, so we there was a time where we had kids. Literally, you had a newborn, a toddler, a preteen, and a teenager. All so our kids are spaced out, and blending really took intentional work, a lot of conversation,
Yeah.
and a lot of give and take. Because one of the things that was really important to us is that they all knew that they were a part of the whole. That
Right.
it wasn't these are our kids together. These are your kids with some. That was never. I've never ever made the distinction. I've always called all the kids are all my kids, all the
Right.
kids are all his kids. And I think it's important to kind of lay the foundation that, hey, we're all coming together and we all matter as part of this because ultimately we're a reflection of what God would have family to look like. And that
Right.
was what was most important to us.
Yeah. You want to chime in or?
Yeah, no. So yeah, I think we made the intentional kind of decision to say, you know what, not going to be being to say step parent
never
or
said it.
anything. That we said, you
Mm-mm.
know what, you've got a bonus mom and a bonus dad. And if you have another parent, it's a bonus mom and bonus dad, and like really the love and really trying to. It was a process. You said kind of in your question,
Yeah.
it took us years to kind of just navigate it, right? Because we had just like you mentioned,
Yeah.
different people in different stages of life, and like how do you make that thing work, right? As
Yeah.
a family. It's some struggles, right? Some crying times, some trying to figure out, talking to other blended families. It helped us kind of communicate better. We had to,
Yeah.
right? To make it work, to grow, or we would have got stuck.
Right. And so we know marriages have challenges. Can you guys think of something that challenged your relationship that you grew from and are able to pour into other couples?
Yeah.
The biggest challenge that you don't mind sharing?
Biggest one, go ahead. You got it.
I actually think we just talked about it. I
Yeah,
think the
that's one.
blending of the families is
Yeah.
a
Was the
really
biggest.
big thing. I mentioned it previously. We didn't have a lot of family support.
Yeah.
When we got together, that was really challenging because my family spread out. So I had a very small family here in the Dallas area. Michael's family's in Austin. So I kind of thought, oh, we're going to get married. I'm going to have an opportunity to be part of like this big family. And when that wasn't there, that was like, oh, we have to come together. So in how God operates and him being so divine and so loving,
Yeah.
that actually helped us grow together because he was raised with all of his family. That was kind of his default. Like, okay, well, I'll just go to my family. I'll just talk to them. They'll do these things. I didn't have that. So I was really independent. I was very much like, I've got this. I'm gonna figure it out. I don't need anybody to help me.
Right.
So because we were now in this space that was so different from our norm, it brought us closer together because now we had to have conversations about what does it look like to be a part, not just creating what we want our family to look like, but for extended families, we call them outlaws and in-laws. Like how do
Right.
we do
Yeah.
that? How do we navigate that space? How do we navigate the other parents for like our older kids? What does that look like? How much engagement do we want? So I think part of the biggest challenge for us was just figuring out how do we honor God with what he put here and not dishonor the things that he's
Mm,
brought
Good.
around us.
yeah. What about individuality? How important is individuality in
Ooh-wee.
Marriages? Do you believe
Mhm.
in that?
I 100% believe. I think we believe in it. I know
Mm-hmm.
we talk about it a little bit just amongst each
Yeah.
other with our relationship, but individuality is super important.
Yeah.
And really, one of the talking about the struggles, right?
Yeah.
So me being able to accept her who she is and being able to fill in the gaps of where I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a hard thing for anybody and myself to kind of say, you know what, hold on, I have this kind of, excuse me, this demeanor of like being patient and kind of can take things, but she's a little bit more of a fire starter, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a negative way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mean that in a negative way, but the idea of that, like, I gotta say, you know what, I need a little fire.
Yeah.
Right, in some situations, and she needs a little more patience in some situations.
Yeah.
And to say that, you know what, God designed us that way, put us
Yeah.
together for that reason.
Yeah.
To say, you know what, no, you don't have everything
Right.
without her,
Right.
and I don't have everything, and she don't have everything without me.
Yeah.
So for us to really get where we need to be, we got to work together. We got to talk together. We got to accept each other individuality
Yeah.
in regards to really to kind of to grow to the fullest.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's a balance.
Yeah.
You guys balance each other
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and you have to recognize that that's part of like the fun of it.
Right.
Is figuring out like, okay, maybe I have to evolve. Like maybe there's some things
Yeah.
about myself I need to change. We talk a lot about relationships being mirrors. Like they show you who you are, but they also show you some things like, ooh, I have some work to do.
Yeah.
And you don't want to like reject that person or that thing because you're really ultimately iron sharpening iron. You're both making each other better.
That's good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Because we know every relationships are challenging all by itself, but when you start putting a mirror up to you,
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
it's like very humbling.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
Yeah.
because even and I'm single, so I like to glean on and get close to the people who are married because it is something that I do want in the future. I was married before, but I've learned so much single
Yeah. That's awesome.
after being married that I believe that I'll be able to pour into a marriage at this point.
Yeah, and that's the goal, like
Yeah.
that we keep growing and we
Yeah.
keep learning and we keep observing because we're not done either. We watch couples that have been married longer than us.
Right.
Like, oh, that's what we need to
That's
talk
what it
about.
looks
We want to
like.
do that. Yeah,
Especially when you're bringing in independence because that's
Yeah.
me. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Listen.
Girl, I was like, I got this. Listen, some of our early conversations, like, this is my bank account. This is
Right.
my
Ooh,
stuff.
Ooh, that's a whole nother
Don't- that's a
conversation.
whole
Conversation.
show.
Oh
We
my
can talk
goodness.
about
Yeah,
that.
for sure. And we
Yeah.
do not have time for all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
However, I do want to ask this. If you could give any couple advice, let's say they're on the brink of divorce. What can you tell that couple that is thinking like I'm done? And we know people are done for different reasons. There's a myriad of reasons why people are done. But what can you say to encourage a couple that's on the brink of a separation or a divorce?
Oh, that's a tough question, first of all and foremost. But I guess one thing that we would say, at least I would say, is that forgiveness has to be in the forefront of the mind of any kind of conversation. You have to have the capacity to be able to forgive and say, okay, is it in your heart to forgive? Whatever situation is, right? Could be something minor, could be something major. The other part I would say to that is the idea that your ability to say, you know what, I can't see myself without that person. The best part of me cannot come to light without me being that person being in my life. Like if you have to wrap your mind around that idea, if you end up separating yourself from, okay, you know what, I don't need them, I can do better without that, this, that, and the other, then potentially, that might not be the best fit for you. Maybe God didn't design that for you. But if God put y'all together, he put that person for a reason. Regardless of how you may see them now, you can ultimately grow into something better and different.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Tristin,
yeah.
you want to chime in? Or?
I would probably give an activity. So it's take a notebook and write down some of the things that you loved about this person, some of the things that were there when you first got together. And then on another sheet of paper, write down some of the challenges and look at the challenges and see if they're overcomable. If there's, hey, maybe we need to have talks about these things, or maybe we need to engage a counselor with some of these things. But this page of the things that, this is why I believe God put us together. This was our purpose. We talk a lot about going back to a purpose statement.
Yeah.
What was the purpose? What was the reason that you got together in the first place? And then saying, okay, look at that in terms of the weight. Like, okay,
Yeah.
is it possible that I could fight through, work through, pray through, talk through some of these things to get back to this purpose and these things that I really loved about the person?
That part. If we wanted to watch Fused Marriages, or if someone wanted to get in contact with you guys, how can they do that? And I'll have you answer. Both of you guys can answer it, each one. So for Fused Marriages, where can they watch?
Fused Marriages, fusedmarriages.com. That's our website. You can go to YouTube as well at Fused Marriages.
That's all of it?
That is all of it.
Thank you all so much for coming. We're going to have you guys back. We're going to have to do like a full segment. I think a full segment with these couples is what's going to happen. Thank you for joining. And make sure you guys check out Fused Marriages. Next up are the Wallaces. We'll be right back. We are back and we have the Wallaces here. Same episode, different segment. So we have the Wallaces. Hello, Mr. and Mrs.
Hello.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Doing very well.
Good,
Thank
good,
you for having
good.
us here.
Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. So we're going to get right into it. And I think I'm going to start off with a off the script question, just like our first couple. I think I'm going to ask, what is the best quality that you see in your significant other?
The best quality
She
that I
ready.
see into Nancy. The best quality is that she is very authentic.
Okay.
And if anyone knows her, just like before we came here, she wanted to get gifts for everyone. So we had to do all these stops. But she is a very authentic giving person.
Okay.
And that's one thing I really do appreciate about her. Now, I may fuss about it because it seems not timely in terms of we had to rush and do all that before here, but
Yeah.
she is very, very authentic
Yeah.
and a giver. She gives a lot.
Okay. Authentic and giving.
Oh, so what I love about Richard is people think I'm the funny one
Uh-huh.
because he is always quiet and reserved, but he does see the sunny side of every situation.
Okay.
And that is good to have that around, especially when you think things are at the worst. He will give these one-liners that'll make you go, "Sir, stop it."
Right.
So,
right.
yes, I appreciate that because it helps, bring me back and ground me on what is really important.
All right. That works. So how long have you all been married?
Is this a test?
No. No.
I'm here with you today.
We'll be married 25 years this summer.
Married 25 years.
Yes.
Okay. So how long were you together before you got married? So you were engaged or dating for how long?
We were engaged about 2 years or so.
2 years.
98.
Yes.
Okay. So together 2 years, married for 25. When you first started dating, was church a thing for you all?
Oh, can I say this?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the very first time Richard called me was a Sunday morning.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, what you doing today?" And I said, "I'm getting ready to go to church. Want to come?" So
Yeah.
we started laughing and making plans ever since then.
Right.
How did you meet? So I'll take it back. So how
Okay,
did you meet
So
before?
we met at a sports bar,
Okay.
and it was actually
The filling
it
station
was the filling station in Dallas. If those of you are familiar with that,
off Greenville.
but
Okay.
it was there. I was there to watch a game, and we sat next to each other, and we started with a joke, and then we were laughing ever since. I think that
Okay.
may have been a Friday night, and see, I was given that whole 48-hour time before I called her back because she gave me her number, and I called her back. So that was Sunday morning. So that was that traditional 48 hours at the time, right? So that's why I called her on that Sunday to say, okay, hey, what you doing today? But we did meet and we've been laughing ever since at that sports bar.
Okay, because I like to start my questions with the because I like to get the foundation. So, like I said on the other segment, a lot of couples get together and they don't necessarily consult God or have the that's just not at the top of the conversation. It wasn't back then when I got married.
Right.
So to see if God fused you all together, to see if God put it together, is where I'm trying to go with it.
Okay, I got you.
So yes, you guys were both involved in the church at the time, correct?
Right.
We were, well, here's what's funny.
Okay.
How long had you been in Dallas when we met?
When we met, I had been in Dallas for 2 weeks, so I had not established the church home yet or anything like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And the other thing I should probably add is that I was divorced,
Mhm.
and I was here with my 8-year-old son, and I was trying to understand just the landscape of everything.
Yeah.
So I was in a season of transition at that point.
Okay.
And when we got together, I was at a place where I didn't really want to be in a committed relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I mentioned the fact that I know I'm kind of going off script here, but I mentioned the fact that Nancy was authentic.
Yeah.
And once I started seeing her authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
that's what changed me to be in a commitment. But when we first got together, I was in this transitional phase in my life.
Okay, Nancy laughing. What's going on?
I'm laughing because he had a whole bunch of what I'm not going to do. And here I am, Southern Belle, and the next thing you know, all of that changed.
Right.
Because he had come out of a marriage and he already had a son, so he didn't want any more children. He didn't want to get married. He didn't want a serious relationship. And here we are, 5 children together later.
Right.
All of that, what he wasn't going to do ended up changing
Right.
because his heart had to change.
Right. And that's why I love. I'm sorry. I love the heart, heal, and evolve because that was really where I was at.
Right.
Is the fact that I was hurting, but you can evolve to something different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you all met, and it looks like you met at a perfect time. Like you said, you were in transition. So how did we get to the place that we are with you guys now? Because you have 2 books. You have 2. We said, I do, now what? And this is the biblical blueprint. So first I need you to tell me the difference between these 2 books, because that one is named the same thing as well, right? Is that the more practical?
Almost. So here's what's funny. This one took about 15 years to write
Oh, wow.
because it was going to be something else.
Okay.
And we kept picking up, putting down, having babies.
Okay. Well,
That's
yeah,
real.
doing what married
I
people
mean,
do.
two double strollers at Six Flags. So do
Right.
the math.
Right.
They were close in age. They were small.
Mm-hmm.
And life and other commitments and work and corporate environments, all those things kept pushing, but they were growing us too.
Right.
So this evolved from maybe one of the topics in there to 16, 17, 18 topics that are in there.
So what prompted you to write the book? What was going on in life to where you said, I want to write a book?
We work with different church groups all the time.
Mhm.
We were small group leaders, and people would come to us. They would have these questions. They would have these things. And it's like, what is the center of what's really happening in your life? And then we started doing different trainings. Like we got different certifications, and
Yeah.
we really got serious. It really was hilarious. Is our story of when we got serious was around 2018, 2019,
Mm-hmm.
because of what we were seeing in our church home, and then what our children were experiencing in school, all of those dynamics impacting the family, and staying together for so many years as your relationship continues to ebb and flow. Like the ocean, things are always changing.
Right.
The tides rise and the tides recede.
Right.
So you have to have that resilience, that still knowing each other in your relationship to help build and develop all of those different characters in that book and all of the different stories in there. And that biblical blueprint was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, we can knock this out, because a lot of our friends were like, well, where are the scriptures? Well, we made it mainstream for everyone because we didn't want anyone to feel
Excluded. And
uh-huh.
that's what I got out of
Yes.
it, because I got them kind of late, so I wasn't able to really dive into it like I wanted to dive into it. But I said there has to be a difference, and I think for that one, it's the more practical side. It looks like it is for everyone. It's inclusive.
Right.
The biblical blueprint, however, it
We get
goes
in your
into much.
business.
It will get
Uh-huh.
all in your
Your
business. And so,
business.
in chapter 2, I see it says building a solid foundation. This stuck out to me. The strength of a marriage isn't found in perfection, but in building something solid together, one choice at a time. Relationships reimagined. Huge statement. Can you speak to it? Building a solid foundation.
Well, building a solid foundation is really about daily choices. It's
Yeah.
about incremental things. So when you start looking at, think about it as a bank account. If you put in money incrementally all the time, eventually the compounding effect and everything else, it'll grow, right? When you put in these small incremental things on a daily basis, just a simple text during the day, I love you, or simple things like that. These foundational things can actually end up being very, very, very stabling effect to your relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what that means. It's about those small choices. It's about those small things that you do every day.
Yeah. What is Relationships Reimagined? Where did that name come from, and where did it where did it start?
So it started out with Marriage Reimagined,
Yeah.
but we were doing marriage relationship coaching, working with women, working with men, doing individual work. And we said, hey, we can't just silo it into marriages because what we're doing is helping all relationships, parent-child relationships, teen relationships, because our kids were going through so many different things at so many different stages. We just evolved from Marriage Reimagined into Relationships Reimagined.
And we also want to be very inclusive of other type of even organizations,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
corporate America, et cetera, because, you know, I've been in many levels of leadership in the executive levels. But one of the things that I saw was the common thread is that relationships do matter.
Absolutely.
And having those relationships from leaders all the way down to wherever in the organization was important. So we wanted to make sure we wanted to evolve this, because here's the thing. The reality is God is in everything, and He is everywhere.
Yeah.
And we want to and our relationships are very, very important. And we wanted to make sure that we get that message out in any relationships that you have in your life.
Yeah.
And that could be at work, it could be at home, etc. So that's why we evolved it from Marriage Reimagined to Relationships Reimagined.
Okay. So you're going to walk us through the stages of hurt, healing, and evolving. So I need to know what you don't mind sharing, of course, feel comfortable sharing. Your biggest hurt in your marriage, how you healed from it, and how you evolved.
Wow. You go for that one.
Oh,
Biggest
let's see.
hurt.
The biggest hurt in our marriage. I think it was one of the biggest hurts was making that transition with our children. So we used to live way down into DeSoto, in DeSoto for 17 years. And when we moved up to Plano, it was closer to our jobs, but it really threw our family, our children into a tailspin.
Yeah.
Our girls more so than our boys. And that ended up impacting us and our relationship because there are times where when you have children, sometimes they choose parents and they try to put parents against parents. And you have to have that resolve and resiliency that even if they don't want to talk to me, as long as they talking to one of us, call grandma, call granddaddy, as long as they're still connected some kind of way,
Right.
we can come through this. So children have been the greatest blessing because early on we were told we couldn't have.
Oh,
So we adopted.
okay.
And then we had 3 more right after that.
Right.
And so once God opened it up, who am I to stop it? So we welcomed every one of them, but with each one, each has their own challenge. And it made us stretch and grow as well as a couple.
Yeah, and being on one accord, because you said something big when you said, because children,
Even as infants, infants will do it to you.
yeah. So making sure you're on one accord and a
Yes.
team in all situations is very important. So how did you all heal from that?
Not
So
allowing that season to cause a permanence,
okay,
and still having the resolve and faith to believe that what God has given me is His, it's not mine,
right,
and He will redeem no matter what.
right.
And let
You want
me
to speak
add,
to that?
there was a lot of tears. There was a lot of,
Yeah,
bedroom talk, in the sense it was talking at night with our door closed. It was making sure that we had an open line of communication.
right.
Otherwise, because that's what the enemy wanted, was to kind of shut off
Division.
those lines.
Shut you
Of,
down.
but we kept that going. We kept talking about it, even though how hurtful it was. We kept talking about it, and I think that's what kind of got us through. And today we can look back at it, and we have evolved from that.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
we have 3 kids right now that are in college all at the same time.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bless you.
And
Empty nesters.
we
Yeah.
empty nesters.
Yeah.
So we're
Oh, so you're in a new
transitioning.
season.
Yes, we're in a new season here.
How's that season going? Empty nesters. How does that feel?
We're still learning it. We just
Yeah.
started it. She just started college in August, and
Our baby.
yeah, we have no college students in this state. They are all in
Wow.
different
All
states.
different states.
So are
And
you in a season where are you guys getting to know each other again? Do you feel like you're getting to know, because there's no kids in the home? So what
I
is the
don't-
season looking like as far as
I
that?
think because so date night it had to happen. It was sacrificial. No, nothing
Every
was going
Friday
to
night.
every Friday night was a
all
date
my
night.
friends knew.
So
Don't call me.
we made sure that we stayed connected during all those seasons. So once the kids got out of the home, we were like, yay. We
Right.
already knew each other, so we didn't have to go through that transition. So we stayed connected during that transition.
But
Okay.
what was interesting, and I pointed it out to him the other day, we have always had a child in the home until this past fall, because we're a blended family. So
Right.
when I married him, we had my stepson. So when he transitioned to live with his mom, we had a baby. And it's always been someone in the home
Right.
until this last fall. So we've been together since 1998. And
This
there has
is literally
always
a new
been
season.
child
Yeah,
It
for you all.
in our
literally is.
lives. Uh-huh.
So is it how does it feel emotionally? Like, I know, are you like split? Oh, good, they're gone. But then there's a part like, do you miss them? Or do you feel like you can concentrate more on just you two? I mean, how does that look? Because there was a lot of couples, they don't have that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
this is my year of surrender.
Okay.
Last year was Wanderlust, and that was as we were fine tuning, getting the book ready, seeing where this wander was going to take us. And then this year, surrender, Lord, I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm available.
Mm-hmm.
We can go and do. We
What you
just
wanna
need to
do.
let them know, hey, we're going to be out of the country.
Right. And that's all you need to know.
Well, and because we all use one of those apps where you can see where the whole family is,
Mhm.
Sometimes we'll get a call up, you didn't tell us you were going out of town
Right.
from our children. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you all. The new season, I have a daughter, and she has her 2 boys. So it's interesting because as much time as I want like away from the grands, it's like, and her, it's like I can't. I don't know if that's like toxic or dysfunctional. I don't know what it is, but you want the freedom, you want to be able to move and how you want to move, but you kind of miss them.
I
At the
do
end of
miss
the
them. I
day.
miss like around Thanksgiving and Christmas type. Everyone, we all usually come together.
Yeah.
And our kids.
This last Thanksgiving,
well,
where were we?
We were in France this last Thanksgiving.
No,
Oh.
I
that
mean,
was
last Christmas. I'm sorry, last Christmas. But that's a side note. But
Yeah.
usually when we're all together, our kids, when they get together, they are nonstop talking.
Right.
They like
Well,
each
yeah.
other.
Yeah.
But I love that energy when in the house, and we're always laughing and joking and it is
Cooking and eating
cook
together.
All the
that
good
stuff.
things.
And yeah, and I do miss that.
Yeah.
I do miss that. And I actually, all of our kids, I think I talk to them at least once a week, at least.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
At
talk
least.
to him.
Right.
Can you send me grocery money?
Well, you know,
Can
that's
you-
never gonna.
That's never.
Yeah.
gonna-
That's. What's next for the Wallaces? So we have your we have your books.
Right.
What do you see next? I know you said you're in the season of surrender, whatever
Yes.
God has, but do you have anything that you see coming in the forefront, or
Oh.
are you leaving it all to
So
to
our
God to reveal?
retreats, we're doing more of our retreats.
Okay.
So we're not as tied to the school calendar as we used to be.
Right.
So we have a You Reimagined retreat, and this will be the second year we've done that with the ladies. Last year we had a fantastic time in Belize, and we're going back, but we're going to a
In
different.
Belize?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so you do it big.
Well, here's the thing. You can get to Belize just the same amount of time that you can get to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2.5-hour flight from Dallas.
Okay. So when is your next one? It's coming up
It's
when?
July 1st through the 5th.
Okay.
You Reimagine, that was for women, but we also have one based off of something that we love doing together, which is wine.
Okay.
So we are both certified in Champagne. That's why we spent Christmas in Champagne this year, because last year I spent it in the hospital.
Okay.
So I wanted a moment of somewhere that would be special for us to celebrate the year.
Okay.
We were
So
there for
if
6 people.
If people wanted to register for the event, where can they go?
Relationshipsreimagined.com.
Okay.
All the events and information is out there.
Okay. Do you have anything for okay, because she mentioned women. So do you
Right.
have anything specifically like for men?
We will be doing men's retreats as well.
Okay.
That's coming. Not on the calendar for this year. More than likely, that will be more than likely next year.
And I think that's super important because I know ladies, we can get together and just do things and all
Yes.
that. But I don't see a lot of things for men. I don't see a
Yes.
lot of retreats. And I'm not saying that there aren't any. I'm just saying it's not like a
Right.
popular thing like women. So
Right.
I'm
But
going to be
that's
praying that you
definitely-
get that.
Definitely something that's been dropped in my spirit, and I know it needs to happen. And
Absolutely.
we're definitely going to be getting that on the calendar.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. You guys make sure you check out everything they have going on. Again, what's the website again?
Relationshipsreimagined.com.
All right, make sure you check it out. That's all for Hurt Heal Evolve today. Thank you for joining, and I will see you next time.
Thank you for having us.